Picture a creature longer than a full-size bed, covered from head to tail in overlapping plates, with dozens of legs carrying its immense body across the ancient forest floor. This is Arthropleura, the largest known land-dwelling arthropod of all time. It's the kind of creature that probably crawls into your mind when you hear the words prehistoric killer bug. It's a vision of nightmare fuel brought to life, a crawling behemoth that seems purpose-built for horror. We see its segmented body like some grotesque parody of a millipede, moving with an unnerving fluidity through the damp, fern-choked jungles of the Carboniferous period, 300 million years ago. You can almost hear the rhythmic scuttling of its countless legs on the damp earth, a sound that would send a chill down your spine. Its sheer scale is hard to wrap your head around. At over 8 feet long and weighing more than 100 pounds, it would dwarf any modern insect or arachnid. Its fossilized trackways, sometimes nearly 20 inches wide, are a testament to its staggering size. This wasn't just a big bug. It was a terrestrial titan, an invertebrate that had achieved a scale usually reserved for vertebrates. And it's easy to assume that its size alone was a formidable defense, a clear signal that this was not a creature to be trifled with. The world it inhabited was as alien as the creature itself. This was the Carboniferous period, an age of giants. The air was thick with oxygen, reaching concentrations around 30–33%, far higher than the 21% we breathe today. This oxygen-rich atmosphere supercharged life, allowing arthropods, which breathe through a system of tubes called trachea, to bypass some of the physical limitations that keep them small today. The result was a world teeming with colossal invertebrates. Dragonflies like Meganeura had wingspans comparable to modern seagulls, and other arachnids reached horrifying proportions. But even among these giants, Arthropleura was king. It was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the terrestrial arthropod world. It's long been the star of documentaries, often portrayed as a terrifying killer, a monster worthy of its immense size. It's easy to imagine it using its powerful body to overwhelm prey, a monstrous centipede-like hunter on a terrifying scale. This is the image burned into our collective consciousness, the ultimate prehistoric bug, the crocodile-sized killer. But you've got it all wrong. This colossal bug probably couldn't have hurt you. In fact, all the evidence points to it being a relatively peaceful herbivore. While we've long suspected it wasn't a predator, recent and incredibly detailed fossil analyses have helped seal the deal. Studies of its head and mouth parts show no evidence of venomous fangs or powerful prey-crushing jaws. Instead, its anatomy points to a much more peaceful existence. Arthropleura was likely a detritivore, a gentle giant that spent its days munching on decaying plant matter and fungi. The terrifying monster you were picturing was, in reality, probably no more dangerous than a modern garden millipede. The creature that could have ended you in just 10 seconds was something else entirely. It was smaller, subtler, and, as we'll see, a far more likely candidate for being a stone-cold killer. It was a prehistoric scorpion. Section 1. The Real Killer. The true subject of our 10-second countdown to oblivion is a creature named Pulmonoscorpius kirktonensis. The name itself translates to breathing scorpion, a nod to the exceptionally preserved fossil evidence of its book lungs, which prove it was an air-breathing arachnid. Discovered in Scotland and dating back to the early Carboniferous period, around 335 million years ago, Pulmonoscorpius shared the same humid, oxygen-rich world as the gentle giant Arthropleura. But while Arthropleura was a passive plant eater, Pulmonoscorpius was an active and formidable predator. And it was big. While not reaching the outlandish proportions of Arthropleura, this was no ordinary scorpion. Fragmentary remains suggest the largest individuals could reach an estimated length of 70 centimeters, or about 28 inches. That's the size of a house cat. A scorpion so large it would make even the most hardened arachnophobe's skin crawl. Now, you might have heard of other giant sea scorpions like Gigantism, which could grow to over 8 feet long. But Gigantism was a different kind of beast. It lived in freshwater rivers and estuaries and was a bruiser, a heavyweight that used its large, powerful claws to seize and crush its prey, likely armored fish. It relied on overwhelming strength. Pulmonoscorpius played a different game. It was a terrestrial hunter, stalking through the undergrowth of the Carboniferous forests, and its primary weapon wasn't brute force. While its size was certainly intimidating, the true secret to its lethality, the key to its potential for a 10-second kill, lay in a subtle but terrifying anatomical detail. Paleontologists noted that for a scorpion of its impressive size, its pincers were surprisingly small and slender. To a casual observer, this might seem like a weakness, but to a biologist, it's the equivalent of a flashing red warning light. It's the telltale sign of an animal that has invested its evolutionary energy not into physical restraint, but into chemical warfare. This was not a wrestler, it was an assassin. Section 2. The Venom Clue. In the world of scorpions, there's a biological trade-off that we see time and time again in modern species. It's a simple inverse relationship. The bigger the claws, the weaker the venom. And the smaller the claws, the more catastrophically potent the venom. It's a quick and dirty way to assess the danger posed by any given species. Think of a large, robust species like the emperor scorpion. It has massive, powerful pincers, almost like a crab's. It uses these to seize and crush its prey, insects, lizards, even small rodents. Its venom is relatively mild, used more as a last resort. It's a brawler, relying on physical strength. Now contrast that with a scorpion like the deathstalker. It's small and its pincers are thin, weak, and spindly, almost useless for restraining prey. Because it can't rely on brute force, it has evolved one of the most powerful and complex venoms on the planet. Its sting is a cocktail of neurotoxins that can cause excruciating pain and paralysis. It doesn't need to hold its prey down. A single sting is enough. This is the exact principle that makes Pulmonoscorpius so terrifying. The fossil shows an animal that was a walking paradox. The body of a giant, but the claws of a hyper-venomous specialist. That ratio of small, delicate pincers to a large, robust body is a clear evolutionary signal. This creature did not rely on its pincers to hunt. They were likely used for manipulating food after the kill was already over. The real weapon was its telson, the stinger at the end of its tail. While we can't directly measure the potency of venom from a 335 million-year-old fossil, we can make a very strong, educated inference based on this well-established biological rule. Pulmonoscorpius had likely invested its evolutionary resources into developing an exceptionally powerful venom. For a predator of its size, hunting other large arthropods and even the first small tetrapods venturing onto land, a fast-acting venom would be a massive advantage. And this is where the 10-second idea comes from. The goal of a venom like this isn't just to kill, but to incapacitate, and to do it as quickly as possible. A powerful neurotoxin doesn't need to cause immediate death. It needs to cause immediate paralysis. For a small vertebrate, a massive dose of highly evolved venom from a predator the size of a cat could very plausibly lead to systemic shock and paralysis in a matter of seconds. The hunt would be over almost as soon as it began. A swift strike, an injection of a biochemical superweapon, and then nothing. Those small claws weren't a sign of weakness. They were the proof of its ultimate strength. Section 3. A hunter in the sun. The terrifying nature of Pulmonoscorpius is compounded by another startling discovery, one that challenges our modern perception of scorpions. When you think of a scorpion, you likely picture a nocturnal creature that scuttles out from under rocks in the dead of night. The vast majority of scorpion species alive today are indeed nocturnal, their senses tuned to vibrations and scent in the darkness. Pulmonoscorpius, however, seems to have broken the mold. Examination of its fossilized head shield revealed something extraordinary: a pair of unusually large lateral eyes. In addition to these, it had smaller median eyes on the top of its head. This is a sensory toolkit that seems like overkill for a hunter that only operates in the dark. Large, sophisticated eyes are often a hallmark of visual predators, animals that rely on sight to track and ambush their prey. The implication is profound. Many scientists now believe that Pulmonoscorpius may not have been a creature of the dark. It could have been a diurnal hunter, an active predator that stalked its prey in broad daylight. Let's paint a picture. The Carboniferous forest is a bizarre vertical swamp of giant club mosses and horsetails soaring over 100 feet into the air. The air is warm, humid, and heavy, and moving through this world is Pulmonoscorpius. It's not hiding in a burrow, it's out in the open, its large eyes constantly scanning, processing the movement of light and shadow, looking for the telltale flicker of a potential meal. Maybe it's perched on a fallen log, a silent ambush predator. Or maybe it's actively stalking through the undergrowth. Its visual acuity would have given it a tremendous advantage. While other creatures might be relying on smell or sensing vibrations, Pulmonoscorpius could potentially see its target from a distance. It could assess, plan, and strike with precision. This wasn't a blind hunter stumbling upon its prey. This was a calculated killer. The combination of its size, its inferred hyperpotent venom, and its excellent vision would have made it one of the most formidable hunters on land. The horror of Pulmonoscorpius is not just that it was a giant venomous scorpion, but that it was a giant venomous scorpion that might have been able to see you coming. Section 4. The World of Giants. To truly understand how a creature like Pulmonoscorpius could exist, we have to look at the world it called home, the Carboniferous period. This was an era defined by two key things: plants and oxygen. Vast, sprawling swamp forests covered much of the planet's equatorial landmasses. Crucially, the types of bacteria and fungi that are efficient at decomposing wood hadn't fully evolved yet. So when these colossal trees died, they didn't rot away. They just fell, piled up, and over millions of years were compressed into the massive coal seams that give the Carboniferous period its name. This global-scale burial of carbon had a dramatic side effect. Photosynthesis releases oxygen, and with so much carbon being taken out of the system and buried, the concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere skyrocketed, peaking somewhere around 30–33%. This hyper-oxygenated environment had a profound impact on arthropods. Unlike us, they breathe through a passive network of small tubes called tracheae. In today's 21% oxygen, this system's inefficiency is one of the main reasons that keeps bugs relatively small. But in the oxygen-soaked air of the Carboniferous, that barrier was significantly lowered. The higher oxygen concentration allowed it to diffuse much more efficiently into an arthropod's body, opening the evolutionary floodgates for gigantism. And so, the world was filled with monsters. Dragonflies with 2-foot wingspans, millipede-like creatures the size of small cars, and scorpions the size of cats. Pulmonoscorpius was not an anomaly. It was a product of its time, a perfectly adapted predator in a world built for giants. But when the Carboniferous period ended, the world changed. The climate grew more arid, the great swamp forests died back, and atmospheric oxygen levels began to fall. For the giant arthropods, this combination of habitat loss and a changing atmosphere spelled the end. Their supercharged world was fading, and the very air they breathed could no longer support their immense bodies. The age of giant bugs came to a close, leaving behind only fossils as a silent testament to a time when monsters truly walked the earth. Conclusion. For a long time, Arthropleura's colossal size made it the perfect villain for our prehistoric nightmares. We imagined it as a relentless predator, the king of the Carboniferous undergrowth. But science, in its patient and meticulous way, has revealed a different story. The 8.5-foot-long killing machine was most likely a peaceful herbivore. It was big, but it was benign. The true killer was hiding in plain sight, a creature whose deadliest secret was written in the subtlety of its anatomy. Pulmonoscorpius kirktonensis, the cat-sized scorpion, emerges as a far more terrifying contender. It wasn't the biggest arthropod of its day, but it may well have been one of the most dangerous. Its story teaches us a crucial lesson: appearances can be deceiving. The small, almost delicate pincers of Pulmonoscorpius tell a quiet, sinister story. They speak of an evolutionary path that traded brute strength for biochemical perfection. They are the silent, fossilized proof that suggests a venom so potent it made large claws unnecessary. This animal didn't need to crush its prey. It may only need to touch them. When you add in the evidence that this creature was potentially a diurnal visual hunter, the picture becomes even more chilling. The danger wasn't always the biggest creature in the room. Sometimes it was the one with the most sophisticated weapon. Arthropleura was a walking tank. Pulmonoscorpius was a silent assassin armed with a biological hypodermic needle. The story of these two creatures is a journey from the obvious cinematic monster to the subtle scientific truth. The bug that could have killed you in 10 seconds wasn't the one you were picturing. It was the one you underestimated.